Jeremy Clarkson is, right now, waiting on West Oxfordshire District Council to make a decision they should have made years ago. A car park, on his own land, for his own customers, because his farm became too popular to ignore. And the paperwork trail behind this one application proves exactly how much red tape one man has been forced to survive just to stop his own visitors parking on a country lane outside his front door. Here's the sentence that matters, pulled straight from Clarkson's team in the current application. Season 6 has been commissioned and will air in summer 2027. 3 further years to monitor and review thereafter seems appropriate. That's not a man trying to pull a fast one. That's a farmer giving the council a clear, honest timeline tied to a broadcast date that's already public knowledge, so they know exactly what they're approving and for how long. No games. A specific window, openly justified, on the record. Now let that sit for a second. 3 years, stated plainly, by a business that's done nothing but tell the council the truth the whole way through. Any other landowner would have expected that to be enough. So here's what's really going on. It starts with a car park that should never have needed this many rounds of paperwork in the first place, and a piece of land that was never treated like an ordinary field to begin with. Diddley squat sits inside the Cotswolds area of outstanding natural beauty. That single designation puts tougher planning restrictions on Clarkson's land than most farms in England will ever face. Every fence post, every gravel patch, every request for parking has to clear a higher bar than it would almost anywhere else. This was never going to be a simple conversation. Go back to 2021. Clarkson applies for planning permission for a restaurant near the farm shop. It's refused. Most business owners would have walked away there. Instead, in August 2022, he opens a 40-cover restaurant anyway inside a building called Lowland Barn, using permitted development rights. The same legal mechanism available to any landowner in the country trying to bring a disused agricultural building back into use. He wasn't hiding it. He confirmed it himself in writing later on. 12 days into that August, the council serves an enforcement notice. The restaurant closes within about a month of opening. Think about what that actually cost. In Clarkson's own words, as a result of this, I've had to sell most of the cows I bought, and now I'm back to using chemicals. I no longer wish to open a restaurant. That's a farmer whose entire supply chain for a beef-based menu collapsed overnight, forced back onto artificial inputs he'd specifically been trying to move away from. A diversification project built to support British farming shut down inside weeks. Any British farmer watching this knows that story, not the celebrity version, the real version. By January 2023, Clarkson writes to the council to make his position completely clear. We do not wish to expand the on-site businesses any further. We are perfectly happy with what we have. Contrary to some of the claims being made, I do not want to turn Diddley Squat Farm into Disneyland. It is, after all, where I live. But we really do need on-site parking. Read that closely. He isn't asking for an empire. He's asking to stop his own visitors from clogging up a country lane outside his front door. And when the enforcement notice against the restaurant stood anyway, he appealed it, alongside a separate refusal on the car park. That's not a contradiction. That's a man who tried to accept a bad outcome quietly. And then, when he saw the actual cost of walking away, decided his livelihood was worth fighting for. Any farmer in his position would have done exactly the same thing. The appeal hearing runs across 2 days in March 2023, with Planning Inspector R.J. Perrins visiting the site twice, 2 visits, a formal 2-day hearing for a car park and a barn. Here is where it turns. On the restaurant, Perrins sides against Clarkson. 6 weeks to tear it all down. His words, 6 weeks is more than sufficient to restore the surrounding land to the condition it was in before the breach took place. 6 weeks. For a business that employed local people and sold local produce, in an industry that famously can't survive on subsidy and unpredictable weather alone. The council spent ratepayer money fighting a planning battle and accidentally produced the most effective advertisement for British direct farming that has ever existed. But on the car park, the one thing that was actually about public safety, about stopping cars parking on a country lane, Perrins grants it. He approves an extension to the existing parking area, formalizes the temporary parking, allows new access arrangements, and permits a small calf attached to the lambing shed alongside it. Even the inspector, hearing both sides, ruling against Clarkson on the restaurant, could see the parking was never the problem. It was the solution. 3 years from June 2023. That clock runs out around 2026. Clarkson isn't asking the council for anything new right now. He's asking them not to switch a working solution off. Here's where it turns again. Because this is not the first time Clarkson's had to come back and ask the same council for permission to keep his own visitors safe. Back in February 2023, before the ruling even landed, there was already an earlier bid for a temporary car park to run until January 2025. 70 cars, 4 rows, on a 60 by 32 meter field. Then the ruling gives him a different 3-year window to around 2026. Now in 2026, he's back again, asking for 2030. 3 separate applications. For the same patch of gravel. For a facility that Oxfordshire's own Highways Authority says prevents cars parking dangerously on the road outside. Think about what that actually means. A man who found a genuine problem, his farm's success was causing a road safety issue, solved it, and has now had to re-justify that same solution to the council 3 times in 3 years. That's not Clarkson dragging this out. That's a system that can't commit to a decision longer than a few years at a time, forcing a working farmer back to the drawing board again and again for something that was never controversial to begin with. And here's the parts the council itself can't argue with, because they said it themselves. In 2023, we understand that the planning process shown in Season 2 of Clarkson's farm can seem obstructive. Not might seem, can seem. Their word. They went on record insisting, as with any other planning authority, we have a legal responsibility to make sure that planning laws and policies are followed correctly by everyone. This is regardless of who they are, and we treat Diddley Squat Farm no differently. Fine words. Again, in 2024, they went further, practically admitting the car park battle didn't need to happen at all. We encouraged Diddley Squat Farm to make an application for a temporary car park